Hello and welcome back. So this is the Week 9 schedule midweek update. So from here on out, there are 3 teams that play 3 times between now and Sunday. And you got Florida, Los Angeles, and Winnipeg, but they're not all created equal. So what you see here at the top, this is the team that they're playing against, their goals against per game ranking. So Florida, they're banged up right now. They've got a bunch of injuries. Lundell, Barkov, Patrick Hornquist, a number of guys. Duclair's still out, so they're missing some of their top weapons. So this is maybe not the best schedule or file to try to pull from in terms of waiver ads, but they do have Eetu Luostarinen, who's playing second line minutes, second power play unit. He's only 3% owned, center left wing, 2 assists, 1 power play point, 4 shots in the last 7 days. Other than that, maybe if you're in a deep league, you do have Eric Stahl there. He had 2 assists in the last 7 games and 8 shots. Those were his first 2 points on the season, and he's getting third line center minutes. But other than that, really not a lot to pick from in terms of most of the guys that you would want are owned up. Sam Bennett would be a guy to target, but he's 60-something% owned, so not a lot to go for there. But LA, they do have a lot to go for. Now tonight they face Toronto, who's third best in the league in terms of goals against per game. But they do have Sean Durzi coming back to play the team that drafted him and traded him. So that could be potential additional motivation for Durzi. If he's there on your wire, maybe pick him up. He might go off and have a game. A lot of times guys tend to do that. I'm obviously Victor Arvidsson. I mentioned him in the weekly video last week. He's doing a lot of the things that he's supposed to do, shooting 13 shots, 2 goals, 1 assist, 2 power play points. And he's the least owned out of that line between him, Deneau, and Trevor Moore. All of those guys are low 30s or high 20s in terms of ownership percentage, and they're all very valuable. They're the complete second line on LA, and LA has some favorable matchups towards the back half of the week. They have Montreal and then Columbus, who just got lit up last night. So there's a potential place to mine some fantasy value. And then people forgot about Alex Iafallo. He's 7% owned, just came back from injury. Last game was his first game, had an assist. He's got 6 points in 5 games this year with 1 on the power play. And he's playing with Gabe Vilardi and Adrian Kempe. So that could be a really interesting third line if they can get some good matchups. And if they're playing these porous defensive teams late in the week, that could be a nice little streaming option for you. And then you have the Winnipeg Jets. They play St. Louis and Chicago on a back-to-back. If St. Louis is going to play Binnington, that could be a goal fest, and you're going to probably want to pick up some guys for these 2 matchups, and then maybe drop them for that Sunday matchup because they do play the Capitals, who are 11th best in goals against per game. But in terms of defense, Nate Schmidt, a shots, hits, block D, who started some offensive production, 1 goal, 2 assists, 2 power play points, getting it done in the last 7 days, only 1% owned. The obvious ad for Winnipeg is Cole Perfetti, 25% owned, 3 position eligible, 2 assists, 1 power play point, and he's on the top line with Scheifele and Wheeler, so that's something to probably try to mine some fantasy value out of these 2 games from. And then Adam Lowry, 10% owned, a goal, 2 assists, 6 shots, 4 hits, 3 blocks. And last year he would go off and have some nice stretches where he was definitely fantasy ownable. This could be one of those, especially in these favorable matchups. But that's what you want to look for when you're picking up waiver ads, is how good is the quality of defense that they're playing against. And last night was a perfect example with Columbus. They're 32nd in the league in terms of goals against per game. Well above 4 goals per game they're giving up. Both goalies got shelled. If you picked up Korpisalo, I apologize for even mentioning his name in last week's video, with their defense being this bad and banged up. So again, sorry for Korpisalo if you picked him up. But yeah, you do want to, anybody who's playing the Ducks, the Columbus Blue Jackets, any of those terrible defensive teams, that's who you want to mine some fantasy value out of. And these are the teams that play 3 times from now until Sunday. So this is what's going to give you that edge this week. If you need some waiver ads, these are the teams that you can potentially pick from. There are more guys than this, but these are some of the better options this week. But that's going to do it. I will see you in the regular video on Sunday.